Hello, what's going on, everyone? Today we have a really exciting video, and that's going to be the breakdown of Haassenstadt Castle, the new fighting stage in Marvel Contest of Champions, and oh my goodness, am I just so excited. Now, obviously, it comes to the game, this Eternity of Pain. It was actually just in the arena. It wasn't supposed to. I'm sure it's probably fixed by now, but from what I gathered, and, obviously with the new update, I was waiting for it to be in the game, so we can look at the assets and see if there's any spicy details we were missing from the 2 times we've seen so far in the anniversary video and Baron Zemo and his Man's reveal trailer. So, and with that, we did kind of get the last bit of thing about Latvian Guillotine, which is like the main thing I'll talk about later. But for the most part, we're really going to be going over every single detail. I mean, if I do miss a detail, just let me know. But we're going to try to make this a video as short as possible, or at least I, hope short as possible. But yeah, so obviously Haassenstadt Castle is in Languria. Languria basically is a neighboring country to Latveria. It's in Eastern Europe. That connects a lot to Hassen, Queen Hassen, who is Morningstar and also Purgatory, but Purgatory is an alternate universe. I'll talk about it later. But for the most part, what we can see right now is this castle has been, updated. Back when we saw it back in with the year 999, it looked a lot different. So now someone's either updated it or, what, it's crazy because this map looks like it's been updated to celebrate the history of the Bloodline Sword, the Le Fleur de Mal, Guillotine's Blade, Purgatory's Blade, Guillotine 29's Blade, and the story of it from the beginning to the future, present, and alternate. It's really exciting. So the throne itself has been updated. Before it looked like a wooden throne. Now it's like a golden gilded throne with the fleur-de-lis, Guillotine's actual emblem. I'll show the cosplayer's guide that actually confirms that's Guillotine's emblem. There's actually a guillotine in the back of the map. In fact, it drops and you'll hear a sound of the metal being released. It's pretty cool. On the stained glass window is Arishagol, the creator of the Bloodline Sword. She seems to be holding the Bloodline spine curled up, and then a spear. I'm curious on what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out later. And we'll talk about all these cool details. And of course, we saw in the 8-year anniversary video, you can see Arishagol with her horned helmet, her same outfit, and her wings. She is the goddess of the underworld of death. And connection to the moon, I'll explain later. But yeah, you also see this statue, and the fleur-de-lis on the guillotine sword and the shield on the walls. You see this new sword version of the blade I've never seen before. I've seen like 10 versions of the blade and it's never looked like that, so I'm curious on what that means. But yeah, it's pretty cool, like all the stained windows. It's pretty cool. And yeah, so obviously this is Arishagol. You can see she has the same horned helmet. She has the same wings, the same front, like basically the same outfit. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. If you don't know the origin of the Bloodline Sword, basically the Mesopotamian king asked her to make a weapon. She did by basically ripping the spine out of the demon Pazuzu, and his soul went into it, and basically it became the cursed blade, and all the people who wield the blade are called curse bearers. In fact, the blade even talks to you and says, "Welcome, curse bearer. You are the past and the future." So pretty exciting stuff. Obviously, same thing right here with the asset of the rug or carpet. The red and yellow aesthetics will be from Haassen's Castle, but with the new guillotine logo, the fleur-de-lis on it, which is pretty exciting. And this is actually from when Morningstar came to the game. This is Queen Hassen from the motion comic, Blades motion comic. And yeah, you can see her, holding her version. Blood Demerang was what she renamed the blade when it was her time in the year 999. But you can kind of see the same castle and kind of the same layout, especially with the columns and the windows. You can kind of see it's been updated for sure. And if you see, this is the cosplayer's guide. You can see the fleur-de-lis right there next to Guillotine's her cape. So that is 100%, and you can even see it on the blade itself with the Le Fleur du Mal from Guillotine's family. If you don't know, she is the current wielder, present time wielder from the comics and the game, the first original character. But yeah, basically for actual Queen Hassen in the castle, Languria, that's when she became, I guess, the wielder of the sword in 974, and then she lost the sword in 998 or 999, depending on what you want to look at, the Guillotine 29 or the Blade motion comic. Either way, she at the turn of the century, basically, she loses the blade. She gets basically put into the Morning Star. She becomes Morning Star, basically gets trapped away until the year 1944. World War II, Mephisto saves her. You know Morning Star, right? But what the story we didn't get is Latvian guillotine. Specifically, Hassen loses the blade at the turn of the century, and it moves to Latveria. So it moves countries, and it goes to Latveria. Someone took it from the rubbles of the castle and took it to amateur bladesmith because basically it was broken. And you can see some bladesmith magic user has put the blade back together after it's been in shards. And we actually see this guillotine for the first time. Like, oh my gosh, I am so excited. This character who I thought was teased 3 years ago. In fact, that was a different character I'll talk about later. But this character got teased last year. Kabam Gabriel Frazera. First off, shared this picture to the left. That became his Twitter profile for most of the year, and then he changed it. And this same picture shows up in the map, and, you know, obviously with the new update, we can finally see what this portrait looks like. It is Latvian guillotine. She has an army behind her, which is exciting, and it's so cool. Like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot believe how exciting. I love the armored look. Obviously, I like this mask, you know. She's obviously from the year 1000, right? So she can't have Doom's mask being in Latveria. But, I mean, as close as you can get it, that's pretty cool. I love it that it's almost like a funeral mask, if you know from art history. She has the moon behind her, which is kind of cool, kind of like the opposite of, Urshka being, the goddess of the underworld, and with having to do with the moon. It's really cool, and you have these people in the background. You have her, and I love the armor, the hood, the little cape. I mean, it's so cool. Now, what sucks is, like, guillotine. Okay, I said, hey, Gabriel Frazera, former director at Kabam, who created the original, created the guillotine story, basically. I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited for the champion after he confirmed it. And he said, not sure I have plans for her to become playable, though. Like, he said that he actually had never told her story before, which confused me because, like, I was like, oh my god, I've seen art of her 3 years ago. And he was like, oh, well, that's actually the Baron guillotine from our Realm Champions. So, yeah, he showed guillotine with a Doom mask and black and white hair, and that's the Baron guillotine, and this is Latvian guillotine. So, quite similar characters but different stories, and we actually have a Marvel Comics Champions character coming to the game this year in connection to the guillotine storyline in Languria, and specifically this new stage, Haassenstadt Castle. So, if this really is, for me, I thought this was confirming this character coming to the game, but it might not. So, maybe we can look at the Baron guillotine. But she looks freaking fantastic. I'm so cool this made it into the game. There are so many other Easter eggs. The suit of armor has the same fleur-de-lis on it. The actual bloodline swords right here are pretty cool. From what I've seen of the map, is like so exciting. But yeah, this is the Baron guillotine, who wears a Doom mask, has a sword with the Doom logo on, Doom thing on it. So maybe they'll combine the two characters. I mean, even though Gabriel Frazera left, usually by the time he left, he said he had, finished the last meeting for the stage and the last meeting for a character. Usually they plan 2 years out in advance. So I don't know what that meeting was about. Was it about what? I don't know. Like, it's so interesting. But, for someone connected to the guillotine storyline, I'm really thinking it's these three characters: Latvian guillotine, this Baron guillotine, or Erishkigal herself, but or someone brand new. But obviously, if you look outside, it's a rubble castle. I mean, people went to Haassenstadt Castle to get rid of Queen Hassen, remove her from the throne, and they attacked the castle. And I'm guessing that's where this destruction comes from, and the same, actually newer style. I mean, you can see a watchtower back there, and this actual castle tower that looks a lot like Doom's SP3, right? So obviously neighboring castles. In fact, Gabriel Frazera even said that. He said when Languria became Latveria. So yeah, pretty exciting that Latveria, like, they basically merged into the same country. A lot of people are like, oh my god, this is Latveria, this is Doomstadt Castle, and I'm like, no guys, no, this is Haassenstadt Castle, not Doomstadt Castle. If you get my drift. But yeah, this is what it looks like from the year 1000 or year 999. so quite different compared to what we're seeing now. In fact, here is the guillotine. So basically, she gets a book from her bloodline that basically explains the guillotine story. It's like, listen closely, curse bearer, and basically one of the pages is about Morningstar, and in fact it says Languria, Europe, or Antellum, which is East Europe. So pretty exciting stuff. Just kind of showing the mountains near it, which you can kind of see with the snow and the mountains. So exciting stuff there. And like I said, we talked about Morningstar, but basically, Queen Haassenstadt gets, removed from the throne, and she gets put in the Iron Maiden, a basically torture device to, have all these spikes in it, and oh, gross. Medieval, right? But she becomes Morningstar, Basically, it's crazy because she comes to the game in 2017, but her story was she awakened in 1944. So kind of interesting that they haven't told that story yet. Gabe did say he wrote a Guillotine comic, but it never came out. But if you don't know, Morningstar actually switched souls with Guillotine 2099, and Haassenstadt is now in Guillotine 2099. So there's a beautiful story when Guillotine 2019 in the game, which is right here. So they're still, friends, sisters, really. I mean, they're really sisters. So it's pretty awesome that they have that connection. Yeah, there's some other stuff too. Like, you actually see the Morningstar on the side of the map, the actual Iron Maiden, which apparently explodes or something like that if you have a victory animation there. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, the fleur-de-lis on the suit of armor, which doesn't look like Hassen's Queen's Guard, and same with the sword, with the statues. The specters are the specters from Guillotine's SP3 comic books as well. Yeah, basically they are the previous wielders of the sword that stick around to help out the new user. So yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. I mean, this whole has to do with the comics, the 2015 Con Champions comic books that Gabe Rosera helped out with the story, among other Con Champions developers. It's just so exciting. Guillotine is the first original character, and I love that, basically we get a whole freaking stage dedicated to it. But other things I didn't talk about were a Ritual flag banner, but like a skull face. I think they're really kind of showing the two sides of Ritual. You can see one, she looks pretty, like that one. She's in blue. But the other ones are in red or in pink. Like, I wonder if they're really playing like two sides of the same coin, where maybe one's like demonic. She's like a demonic goddess. And I'm curious on what her spear means. But yeah, this is super cool. You can fight this in Eternity of Pain later this month. And let me know if I missed anything. The chandelier is pretty spiky too. Didn't seem that interesting. The gargoyles are French as well. So a lot of crazy. This is Eastern Europe, Languria, or maybe modern day Latveria. But it's very French because of the guillotine wielders. The last 4 guillotine wielders have been in Paris, or have been around during the from the French Revolution to modern day, with Janine Sauvage, our guillotine. So really exciting. I am so excited about this map. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. There's so much cool things, and maybe I missed a thing or two. Just comment on it if I missed it. But I guess we'll have to wait for Eternity of Pain. Thanks so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.